Well, good morning. This is Dr. B speaking to you from Branford, Connecticut, and let's talk a little bit about energy. We're going to go over some common terms and then apply it to losing some weight. I encourage you to try to guess what these answers would be, and if you're reviewing, perhaps watch this again and quiz yourself on some of these common terms and situations. What's energy? The capacity to do work. If we apply it to a classic physics situation, what are we talking about? Force times distance. It can come from a variety of sources. I'll bet you could guess them. It could be solar, which is radiant. It could come from heat transfer, for example, thermal temperature change. It could come from a chemical source where those bonds hold either potential energy, or if you break them, that is actual kinetic energy. And this situation here is potential energy. In this case, it's positional. It can also be chemical. Let's talk about energy changes in a chemical reaction. You can just simply transfer energy from objects at different temperatures and measure, for example, specific heat from that. If the situation is endothermic, what does that mean? It requires heat, like baking a cake. How about if it's exothermic? It's releasing energy, or since it's thermic, I guess, heat, and that could be like a wood fire, for example. What's the difference between thermodynamics and thermochemistry? I think of thermodynamics as the study of heat from a holistic point of view. That will include not just plain old heat in the form of Q, but a much deeper look at it in terms of free energy, enthalpy, entropy, temperature. You may notice I'm quoting basically the Gibbs free energy formula. Thermochemistry is the study of heat from chemical reactions. So that's a lot of specific heat, bond breaking, bond making, that sort of thing. Is enthalpy the same as heat? Not quite. It's heat at constant pressure. And what is calorimetry? Calorimetry is there it is, measuring heat transfer, usually with a calorimeter. In a high school, that might be something as simple as a coffee cup. Okay, open-closed systems, it's already been clicked on, so just have a look. If you're in an open system, I think of that as a flask that's uncorked. When you're doing your study, it certainly will not pressurize. Therefore, you can refer to it as enthalpy. Notice that? Heat at constant pressure. In a closed system, the mass will certainly be conserved. It's oftentimes more dangerous, and that's a closed system. We can measure the standard enthalpy of formation or reaction. We can even measure the standard free energy or the standard entropy. Enthalpy is the most common. For example, if we're making an making a compound from molecules in their most stable form, in this case copper atoms with oxygen, we can talk about the heat of formation. And in this case, if we do it under standard conditions, we put that little naught sign right there. Since this is formation from the elements, this is the standard heat of formation of copper oxide, which is exothermic to the tune of 155.2 kilojoules per mole. We'll say more about that later, but you can look up tables and determine the enthalpy for a chemical reaction by simply finding each substance in a table. Okay, let's apply some of these concepts to weight loss. How many calories should you be eating per day? Well, the number will vary a lot, but it might be about 2,000 is a good whole number. And what's your sedentary metabolism? That is your couch potato consumption of energy by doing basically nothing except breathing. Let's say 1,500. Now that's, of course, just a wild guess, but this particular situation, I hope you can see that that person would be putting on weight. How much? Well, it looks like 500 nutritional calories per day. Will they gain a pound of body fat? No, they'd gain about 1/7 of a pound of body fat, since 3,500 nutritional calories are a pound. They are on track to be gaining a pound a week. Let's do something about it. Let's exercise for 1 hour super hard. And that might burn up to 1,000 nutritional calories if you are young and healthy and fit and could run it like, I don't know, a 7-minute mile. So if we do both those things, let's figure it out. We were 500 in the deficit before, but now we're 500 in the weight loss category. So that is 500 nutritional calories a day that you're losing, and that would mean in a week you could lose about a pound. And that's the simple math that most people apply, or at least I think should apply, when they are legitimately trying to gain or lose weight. That's an introduction to energy.